Like you said, I mean, most of that stuff was just for Vince's amusement, and he's a big believer in let's see how you react to something on the spot. But also, as we know, Vince is a genius, and he came up with one of the most genius ideas when he had the entire NXT squad, basically a night or two after NXT was finished. He knew that you guys would probably just go off and do nothing, but he then put all you guys together as like this 7-man hit squad that attacked the WWE and invaded the WWE. Tell us about how you were told about that, because it was a big surprise no one knew, and then tell us what happened to you on that very first night.
Yeah, so essentially we were just kind of all pulled into an office and just kind of said, hey, this is what we'd like to do, this is how we'd like you to be, and we'd like this to be essentially a gang-style beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of, we were given a little bit of direction, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. And then, so we were able to just kind of go out there and do whatever we kind of wanted. Well, it turns out you couldn't really do whatever you wanted.
Yeah. So Cena's in the ring, and then all you guys kind of converge and then just attack him.
Yeah.
Right.
So John Cena was in the ring, and then we all like come down from the crowd and like
it was a great
jump
moment
over the barricade, and I thought it was just a very cool visual, and we start beating up John Cena, and then we start tearing apart the ring and all this kind of stuff, and then within that melee, we ripped the shirt off of Justin Roberts, and because it was like a gang style beatdown, and I didn't know the confines of what PG really is.
Right.
But to me, here's Justin Roberts with no shirt on and a tie around his neck. And so I thought, oh, this will be great. Yeah. And I pulled back on the tie. And then so I did that. And then we're all doing stuff to John, right?
Right.
So like everybody's doing their big thing to John. And I kicked him in the head. But right before I kicked him in the head, I spit in his face. And so it was funny because, like, they didn't really know who was doing what when we were out there,
yeah.
Right? Like, so we got back, and it's like, oh, who choked Justin Roberts with that tie? I was like, oh, that was me. No choking. Who spit in Who's spitting Cena's face? Me. No spitting. It's like it's like all this stuff. And I'm like, oh crap. And it's funny because that was on a Monday in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday we went to SmackDown, but we didn't do anything. Wednesday I had to do something for the for FCW's the developmental thing.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to Miz, and like, cause we did I don't remember what we did. I was talking to Miz, and he was like, yeah, don't worry about it. It'll all blow over. And actually on the Tuesday at SmackDown, Michael Hayes was like, okay, Daniel, what did you learn from last night? I said, no choking, no spitting. Good. It's not bad to make mistakes. You just have to learn from them. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. And then Miz was like, yeah, don't worry about it. It'll blow over. Friday, I get a call from Vince himself telling me that they had to let me go. And it's
wow. And what was the reasoning?
But it's funny because one of my responses, which I think really helped me, was I wasn't that bothered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I saw, like, the unknown number, I was like, oh, like, I kind of had this feeling, this sense of dread. And I was like, but one of the things that I had said to him, I said, well, thank you for the opportunity. And he's like, no, this is, I'm sorry we have to do this, but we have to do it. And I said, well, don't feel bad for me, because I'm going to make more money this year than I've ever made before, just on the independents, just based off that.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that took him aback a little bit, because John Laurinaitis followed up on me with the details of, like, okay, what happens now, right?
Right.
And he said, did you tell Vince that you were going to make more money this year than you'd ever had before? And I said, yeah, because realistically I wasn't making any money with WWE because I didn't have the developmental contract that the other guys had. I had a regular contract,
mm-hmm.
and so I was only working 2 shows a week. So like the developmental guys would get their downside of whatever they get per week, and then on top of that, we're getting paid extra for doing the TVs.
Right.
I had a low downside, and then was not only working the 2 TVs a week, which usually on Raws we weren't doing anything. So like I was going in the hole every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it ended up being like 2010 ended up being a worse year for me with WWE than any time that I'd had in the last 4 years on the independents.
And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people don't realize that just because you're in the WWE doesn't mean you're making huge money. Until you kind of get to the upper echelon, you got a lot of expenses you got to pay, and $500 a night hardly covers anything.
Yeah, and especially like because now you're with WWE you're getting taxed on every dollar.
Right.
And whereas on the independents, I would get taxed on everything that I made with Ring of Honor, but there's also like the stuff in Japan. I would go over to Japan and I would they would pay my taxes for me.
Mm-hmm,
so they would tell me you're getting paid X amount per week.
Right.
But we're actually paying you this amount per week. So they told me, okay, you'll come in for this. But they're actually paying me more than that because they're taking care of my taxes.
Right.
And they're doing all this, other kind of stuff. So there was that whole world that when you think of when somebody tells me, oh, to make at the time, okay, I make 50, so my downside is $50,000 a year. Oh, well, at least you're making $50,000 a year. That's guaranteed money. Well, that after you tax it, and then if you're only on the road occasionally, and those road expenses for the weekend can be $1,000.
Sure,
you know
easy.
What I mean? Between rental cars and hotels and food and all that kind of
drop-off fees.
So, and so it's it was really an eye opener that 2010 was as far as all that kind of stuff goes.
What did Vince tell you as to why he had to let you go?
Because they were we're a PG company and we have sponsors and we have this and that, and I don't remember what he said as far as complaining, but he said he apologized to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't apologize. Like he said, I'm sorry that I have to do this. You know what I mean? But we have advertisers and we have this who depend on us being a PG company, and if I don't do something to kind of reprimand you now, then people will say in the future if they do something like that, well, Daniel Bryan got away with it, or this guy got away with it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of his justification for it. But he was actually very nice to me on the phone as far as that goes. It wasn't like, you're an idiot. So yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's how all that went.
The same thing happened to me when I got suspended for kicking the flag in Brazil. It was the same thing. He's like, I have to suspend you. I'm like, for what? And he's like, because I have to show the world that if this stuff happens, that I have no mercy and I will reprimand you and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of the way that he feels. And I guess in a way it's justified. You got to protect himself and make sure that people know that this kind of stuff is not allowed. Although much like you, I didn't know that kicking a flag wasn't allowed,
Right. Yeah. And I remember when that happened with you, and I was sitting there thinking that's just pro wrestling, right?
That's right, man.
I would go over to England for, a long period of time. Like in 2003, I went there for 6 months straight. And, I was doing the Butland shows every night, and I was constantly doing stuff to their flag, and I was going out there and singing the American national anthem, and all that kind of stuff. And never once do you think oh, I shouldn't do this. You just think, oh, it's pro wrestling, and this is the way I'm going to get people to hate me.
That's right. It's just typical heel stuff, right?